We was born in that sod house in Nebraska. As I told you before, the father was a doctor and the midwife and the nurse and the whole thing. Well, in my childhood in Nebraska, I can remember there was a cyclone or an awful wind coming. And we left the sod house, went around to a cellar. That is, my mother and father and the baby went first. And they told us other kids to stay there. And I didn't listen. I got out the door and went to come around the corner of the house. And when I got where the wind could hit me, well, I couldn't make no headway. I just stood there leaning against the wind and squalling till my father had the time to go in and lay the baby down and come back out and get me. Then we come on. I don't remember when we sold the team and wagon, but we come on, and I can remember stopping at noon at what they called the Devil's Slide or the Devil's Stairs. I don't know which. I can remember that. Then the next thing I can remember was down to Bunkerville where Steve Bunker lived, and he had a boy by the name of Newell. And Newell and I was together. We was living in our covered wagon yet, bang in their backyard, and Father was working for the Bunker family. Later, kind of in the fall, we moved up to the beaver dams, and we owned the half of the beaver dam ranch and lived there between 5 and 6 years. A lot of little things happened there. We used to go up to the Narrows and catch humpback suckers and go up there hunting my older two brothers and me. And sometimes I'd get tired and howl before we'd get home. And one time I stubbed my toe and got alkali under it, and the toenail come off, and I can well remember them things. One time my brother Jim and I was across the creek cleaning out the cottonwood leaves that fell in the little ditch that we had run down to a garden spot. My brother was shoveling the leaves out, and I was supposed to rake them back with a rake so they wouldn't blow right in again. And then I'd have extra time, and as I stood there behind him with him working like a little beaver like he always did, I looked up the ditch ahead of us, and I said to him, I said, "There's a crow up there in that cottonwood tree." "Yeah," he said, but he didn't look up or pay any attention. Well, we got quite a bit closer, within possibly, 30 yards. I said, "No, it isn't a crow." I said, "It's an owl. I can see his ears." And he looked up then and stood there just a minute with the shovel laying in his hand. He said, "Yeah, it's a wildcat." And so away he went across the creek to the house, and me right after him. I can't remember when I couldn't keep up with him. He was 4 years the oldest, but he was the littlest always. We went over and got the shotgun and got the dog, and come right back to where he dropped the shovel. And then we had an old shotgun that was been bored out from a rifle, I suppose, been bored out for a 12-gauge shotgun, and he couldn't hold it up. He had to sit down and put it over his knee to be able to manipulate it. And when he shot, well, he shot a little too high, and just some of the bottom shot hit the old wildcat. It wasn't a bobcat, it was a wildcat. And the wildcat's a big brindle cat. Stands up about the same height as a bobcat, but he has a longer body and he has a long tail. He's brindle all over. People around here don't believe such a cat existed now, but then there is some too that know, that have seen them in recent years. Well, he put in another bullet, shot again, shot him all right in the face, and of course he dropped. But the first time he shot him and hit him, why, he jumped and started to come down, but there was some hanging down limbs, and he grabbed into them limbs and drew himself back up into the forks of the tree where he was in the beginning. Meanwhile, Jim put in another bullet and shot the next time, shot his head full of shot. He fell, and as he hit the ground, the dog hit on top of him.